Yes, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the match review of the fixture between Grange and Ipswich. This game was played on the 22nd of February 2026, resulted in Grange running away with a 2-1 victory, well-earned 2-1 victory. Um, you will remember the fixture because it was just a couple of days ago, which is fantastic. Moving to the statistics, and the relevant statistics demonstrate that um, we had 42% of possession, which is actually a decrease on the possession that we had previously in the previous game, which is why I marked it as yellow. We outperformed them in terms of shots, 16-4. We had 11 corners to their 3, and we produced Actually, that is incorrect. They executed a lot more passes than us. I suspect that was because they spent a lot more time coming out from the back. The shot map displayed 50% of our shots being taken outside the box and 50% of our shots being taken inside the box. We had a 22% conversion rate from inside the box and an 11% conversion rate from outside the box. I believe that refers to how often we hit the target. The first half demonstrated, as you can see by the possession stats, it records 0 possession for them in our defensive third. That's obviously not true because they managed to score a goal, but it just demonstrates that they spent very little time in our attacking third, which suggests to me that the fact that they did get a couple of shots off in that first half, it just suggests we need to tighten things up at the back a tiny bit and manage possession more carefully because we can dominate games. We just make sure we need to control them well enough that no one ends up getting through. In the first half, 92% of the possession was in the middle third of the pitch with 8% in their half. So it was very much a midfield battle in the first half. As they tired in the second half and things opened up, we found 8% of the possession was in our defensive third, 68% in the middle of the pitch, the middle third, and 24% of the possession was actually in their defensive third, which is to say that they spent a lot of time playing out and we spent a lot of time attacking. I would like to switch our style of play a tiny bit to, rather than being focused on pressing and winning the ball back to get into their defensive third, I don't see why we can't control the ball, camp in their defensive third, and create opportunities. Our passing strings were reduced. I think that's a reflection of our possession. They had some strong boys in the middle of the pitch, which is something to take into account as we move forward. Our longest passing string was 5, which is lower than our last fixture against Redlands. And 9 times we executed between 3 to 5 passes, which is a little disappointing because we're a better team than that. On a positive note, though, the heat map, if you care to look at it, will reflect that we gained control of the game as we moved through it. In terms of specific key points, and this is what we'll focus on, key points, yes, we competed physically throughout the fixture. In fact, I think we competed and we dominated physically as the game wore on. We're getting much better at playing through. Both of our goals were a result of playing through them into the attacking third, which is fantastic. But our communication is something we still need to work on, both predominantly in defence, with our back 4 and our midfield and everybody communicating so that we can shut teams out more. We are still far too quiet on the pitch. In possession, I thought we're doing better at playing through. Okay, you can see partnerships developing, which I will get onto when we actually start talking about the fixture ahead. I would like to see us demonstrating more patience when we select the pass. We are definitely improving fixture to fixture, but we need to be better because this is a very competitive competition this year. It's very open, which means that we're going to have to work harder because I want to outplay teams. Out of possession, we need to concentrate on communicating and maintaining our shape. There's a couple of examples of what I want to demonstrate with our shape. We need to start to think smart. We need to start to be mindful of the match state and where the state of the match is and make sure that we're not providing the opposition with opportunities. And then with the press, we need to apply the press, force the error, and then that's when we engage intensely. So with all that having been said, we'll now go over to the video because I think that's the most valuable part of these sessions. Maximize that. So we'll start with some defensive points. We'll go back to 717. No, we won't be going back to 717. Our first effective point is at 155. And what we need, oh gosh, get you out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out. I just need to move us back to here. No, not far enough back. I'm not going to be able to get that because it just won't let me. So I'm going to go forward to 2902. What I liked in 2902 was the at this point in time, bearing in mind this is well into the game. Okay, so here we are. Mick plays the ball to feet. Zach's got the ball at his feet now. In this situation, what we will notice, and this is really good, Mick, Zach, I think that's going to be, that'd be Luke outside of him. So our midfielders, okay, have all been well marked over here, here, here. Zach's under pressure, under pressure, under pressure. However, we have found a free player over here, which is really good to drop into that position, create the space, and then find the pass to allow us to escape. And it's a good pass. It needs to be firmly hit because it needs to bisect these two players. But that's a really good vision. And more importantly, as I close this and we watch the pass, he's booted it hard. He hasn't tried to trickle it through. That then creates an opportunity for us to attack. And as we roll it through, he then kicks longer. That's probably not the option I'd prefer, but as Benji's managed to get onto the ball, it gets leaned on by a bigger player. That's the point of the story is we've escaped. I would have preferred to consolidate possession as opposed to just boot long because we've gone to the trouble to escape. We need to respect possession more and build up. So now in this situation, this is an example of we've got some poor marking. As we let it unfold, now our shape is poor. Have a look at our shape. We had linesmen today as well, boys. So we've got this. That's our shape. We are all over the shape, all over the shop. It's a diagonal line, and you will notice how easy it is for them to cut through that shape in a moment. Okay, so Luke, you're probably out. Well, actually, you're probably in position in alignment with Francis. Wrong colour. So you're probably in alignment with Francis, but everybody kind of needs to be stepping up. The centre backs are the ones that set that position. If we let it roll through, now in this case, because we've got that staggered line and we talk about putting our opponents under this kind of pressure, because they've created this staggered line, they've drawn a defender out, this guy here suddenly becomes a really damaging run. Okay, he's going to look to run through. If you watch it unfold, we're lucky in this instance because Luke recognises the danger and starts setting out across the pitch. Zach's beaten, and Luke manages to run through, cover it and get rid of it and kick the ball away to safety. But we need to get better at that shape, okay? If we go back before this bit, and this is something else that I'll highlight. So 53:04, and we'll go back to maybe 50 seconds before that. Okay, so Okay, so ball goes back to their keeper. We'll just roll it just to get a sense of the play. Bombs forward. Okay, so he's been adjudged to be offside, rightfully so. Oh, hang on. Having a shocker here. Go back to this. Okay. So this is the lead up that I'm looking for. So we can see here we've got a nice back four alignment. Everyone's in a line. That's good. Okay, so they then pass it. Now notice he drops it back. Now we've got the ball okay, and then we've lost the ball. This creates a transitional moment, which is why everyone's all over the place like a bad hand of Scrabble. You can see Francis over on the right-hand side has been caught, and that's what creates this opportunity as we adjust. Now, we've just about recovered our line, so that's good, but the gap is still here because we've lost this bloke, okay? Riley's cutting across, but he won't be able to get there. So what I'm highlighting there as well is the danger associated with transitional moments and why we need to control the ball. Because if we control the ball, we reduce transitional moments, and that's a really good thing. So this is an example of using our midfield well. Ball over to Isaac. Isaac now. Isaac has been successful. Just going to go back a fraction. Okay. Mick, boom, go bows to here. Now notice what's happened is this guy's executing the press, okay? He's coming after the ball. This guy's coming after the ball. This bloke is going to support the press because he thinks he's cut that out. Isaac is good enough in this situation. Options that he has available to him, good Lord, what is going on here? There we go. He's identified that he's got that pass. He does have the back pass to Mick, but Mick has someone on him. I can actually see Zach on the left. You're way too far away, mate. You need to be closer because you're out of the game over there. But he manages to find a pass to the middle of the pitch where a really good run back, I think that's Riley, who recognises that he's got Francis over there. I'd prefer you take a touch because if you take a touch, notice how the first thing Francis has got to do is get the ball under control. Riley, if you take a touch, you can then hit the ball on the grass, and it's easier for Francis to control the ball with his first touch. If he can control the ball with his first touch in this situation, rather than have to control it, he can then dribble it. So he can dribble it, as opposed to if you watch it, we'll watch it again. If you watch it again, ball to Isaac, great run back. Now take a touch there, and Francis can get the ball and set off down the sideline. As it turns out, he's got to get it under control, and it's a slow, horrible ball. Nonetheless, we managed to make it work, so that's good. That's just an example of not respecting possession. You've got to use the ball, use your body to shield the ball. I'm not sure who that might have been, Danny. It wasn't your best game, Danny, but you need to use your body to respect the ball, because what we now have is a transitional moment. Fortunately, we managed to slow them down and build from there. But we need to respect the football, boys. I think this is going to be an increasing theme in our conversations until we get it right. Now, 88-26. An example of something that should never happen. Ball's gone up. Riley's under it. For some unknown reason, Isaac comes running up and crashes into him. Just call, boys. Put a call on it. We've got away with it there because that creates a transitional moment. They're in possession. It's not ideal. And the final thing that I want to concentrate while we talk about defence is this segment of play. And this is, Mick, you had a really strong game, but in this case, it's late. I just want you to note in the graphic up the top, you mix on the 18-yard line. No reason to be that far back at this stage of the game. We're a minute 26 out. We know they're going long. So we know they're kicking long. So this goes to game state. So we know that they're going long, which means that you need to be higher because you're expecting them to kick the ball through. Lo and behold, he gets the ball, has a look up, winds up, and there's only one place he's going, and that's in for this guy. You, Mick, you're on your 18-yard line. I know you're probably a bit nervous because it's late in the game. We're just trying to see it out. There's a minute 22 going, but the state of play has to remain the same. Now, if you are where you needed to be, which is about here, this is really easy. It's really easy for you to cut out and control. Unfortunately, right now, you're just coming off your 18-yard line and you've made the decision to come out. That guy gets a good bounce and you're still recovering. So we need to play the full 80 minutes, all right? Finally, because that goes to game state, and there's this other section here, 75 31, which I want to talk about. Oh, 75, 31. Okay, so they were coming after us. Everything to play for at this point in time. Come on, mate. Get up. You can do it. Hmm. I'll just let it roll through. Yeah, no, I've obviously got my times wrong. That's disappointing. We'll roll on to shape. Okay, so shape 57. We might have to watch this out because I've got 57.5, I think. Just talking about our shape. So that's they've got the ball now. Okay, so just in terms of shape, this is our back four. Notice we've got a staggered line. Not ideal. It's not really what we're trying to create. I'll let it play through. Okay. Now notice that, and this is an example of using possession. Isaac's kicked it straight into the attacker, and then all of a sudden this creates a transitional moment, and they're very dangerous because look at us. We're all over the shop. And this is exactly what we try to do with other players, and that creates passing lanes and passing opportunities. We're very narrow, which is probably fine because they're very narrow as well. But we're very narrow, which means there's lots of space in behind. Mick's back on his 18-yard line, so he's probably could be with being a bit further forward, and then they can run. Now we've recovered, and now we've got our shape back. You need to connect those passes, Isaac. Good boy. Okay. So 59.38 is once again talking about shape. Talking about shape and hybridizing that really with sort of transitional moments. Okay, so we've got our shape recovered quite quickly, which is good. Well, up you get, Riley. All right. So good use of shape because it's very important and it wins us games. I can't find the game state item that I was hoping to find, but anyway. We'll now move and we'll have a look at some attacking. Now, one thing I wanted to point out in this situation, and I'll show you this as a group. So notice what we're looking at here is Will. He's managed to get outside of his defender. Max is on the ball. So the play is for Max to draw and then just play Will in. Okay, Will's ready to make the run. Unfortunately, doesn't quite read it. That's fine. That's opportunity one. We then go forward to 4:48. A little bit further. Now, what I'm highlighting in this little segment is that we're starting to develop combinations. Good little dink. Now you can see what Max is attempting to do. Max is on the ball. Will's here. Max is attempting to execute a pass through here for Will to run onto, and then once he obtains possession, to blaze the ball past the keeper and see how it works out. Good ball, gets in behind, and will now, in this situation, one thing I would suggest we need to change. We need a near post run here. So you need to be closer in, getting out at, like, basically getting in front of the defender. Because if you're behind the defender's going to cut out. So you've got to create a run that's going to affect the change. So what you need to be doing is making your run, in my opinion, in this situation, the striker needs to be making a near post run, because that way you're giving the keeper something to think about, and you're preventing, and you can even get in front of the keeper and give it a little nick. As it turns out, exactly what I said. If you're in the shadow of the defender, then you're never going to get the ball unless the defender meets it and misses it. And it's unlikely that the defender's going to miss it. It's a low probability play. So you've got a 5.57. More of the same, okay? So once again, I think is that, I can't tell if that's Max or if it's Zach. My guess is Max. But Will's got himself into space out here. He was very, very good at getting himself outside of his man. So he's going to be looking to execute this run either onto a ball here or maybe a bit deeper to get across him. Let's see how we go. Can't quite find him, and that's fine. So this is a really good example. If it's on, take the ball. If it's not, then and that's probably not the best. You're trying to feed it through to Nathan, but in my opinion, in that situation, better passing options rather than force the pass. You can pass it back to Riley. You can pass it back to Luke. No, that's not Luke Payne. So my point is, rather than force the pass, we can recycle it, pass it back, and then get into the line and create headaches for them. Finally, 10:02. Well, later, we end up in the situation where we make good on this. Now, it comes from a good pressure from Nathan. Sloppy ball control here. Mail gets involved. And notice Will goes, okay, I've got the ball here. He has nothing doing, okay? So Will has recognised that he has nothing doing. He's got players in support. So really good. You can see here you've got a whole bunch of players camped in front of you. The keeper's recovering. This guy's pretty much covering Mal. This guy's not really in the play yet. So what Will's going to do is execute a smart little pass through to Mael. And then Mail's going to realise, and there's two things that happen here which are really cool. Will is going to read the pass and execute a run through to here, and Mael is going to be good enough to get the ball through, and then that's going to free Will to make a run. That's going to free Willie. We all like to see free Willie. Really good finish, cuts across the keeper. Even if the keeper saves that, we've got two players running in on the far post, and even if the shot misses, we've got two players at the far post. Now, the reason I've highlighted all of that is because we've had 4 separate segments where Will's on that run, and then we found him. And I like that because it shows that we're developing combinations, okay? I want to now go back to 4:32, and I want to highlight a run of Danny's. Okay, now notice this run that Danny's making. We've also got over here, and we've also got Max in there. It might well be that if Francis can execute a phenomenal pass, or if Francis can execute a phenomenal pass that beats this defender who's got nothing to do, getting through there, that's going to be tough, okay? Getting through there, that's going to be easier, but it's going to give Danny a lot to do. I would prefer in this situation, the ball is to play to Max and then to create width by continuing your run. Let's see how we run. Even better. So what Francis does is he delays the play. Now, what Danny has done is an excellent job. Even though he didn't get the ball, Danny has managed to take all three of these defenders with him. Okay, so they've all gone with him, which means that we now have the situation where Nathan has a lot of space and Francis finds him with the ball. So this is really good play. It's exactly what we want to be trying to do as we build up. Nathan takes a touch. It's a heavy touch, unfortunately, and the ball gets turned over. But the play is really, really good. Now, 15-13. Good ball by Mail, finds Maxi. And Maxi runs. Okay, he's out-legged this guy now. Here's the cross. So Maxi's weighing up the cross. He's having a look at what his options are. In this situation, there are two runners. Danny, and I believe that's Nathan. Danny, your run needs to be a near post run. And Nathan, your run needs to be to the middle. And there's someone further over, and their run needs to be to the back post. Okay, so they're the runs that we need to be executing in this situation, because that presents us with an opportunity for all of the different runs. Good cross. Oh, now their keeper was good enough. Cross was just a little bit too close to the keeper, which is disappointing, but it is what it is. So now we'll go to 16-22. Now what I want to highlight here, is a really good overlapping run, okay? Because Francis here has realised that all of the play has become concertinaed over on this side of the pitch. That's where all the defenders are. Okay, which means that for him, any run through here is going to run into a heap of space if we can find him. Max does find him, gets the touch, crosses it. Excellent play, really good play. Probably could have done a little bit better on the cross, but I like how you won it and then cut it back to Mal. So that's good. Things are developing. Really, really promising signs, guys. And we will get better, and we will get better, and we will get better at playing those passes, finding those runs. So let's just keep building. Okay, now in this situation, we'll go back a fraction more. Okay, for some god unknown reason, this guy's just kicked the ball straight to Danny, and Danny's received the ball. There's a lot of space in behind. Danny decides to try to play through and manages to play through. Benji gets onto it, keeps Danny in the game. Now, in this situation, we don't need to cross straight away. Drive into the box. Do you know what I mean, Danny? Like, honestly, back yourself, because at the moment, the option you're looking for is Benji. Benji's got three defenders on him. Okay, so he's going to be doing very well to be a passing option. So in this situation, my preference would be for you can see the box, just drive into the box, dribble into the box, and look to link up. Once you get into the box, you can invite the defenders to foul you, because you know what we're going to get on the other end of it. And as it ends up, once again, try to find Benji. Benji's got 3-on-1. There's just too many numbers in there. So we just need to build on finding the right path, okay? We'll now move forward. So 33-11. So what I highlighted this for was some really good retention. Oh, God. Really good retention before that. Okay, so we got the ball. Now, look, when I first watched this, I assumed that he'd awarded a free. Oh. All right. Boom. See, I'd assumed that he'd actually awarded a free kick, and we weren't actually playing. So we've done really well to this point. Now, my argument is the long ball over that way really the option? Because you've got Francis over here in acres of space. We've got nothing but orange balls. All the defenders are over on that side of the pitch. So they're all here. So do we really need to kick to where they've got the greater numbers? Or would it be more advisable for us in this situation? We could almost pass the plate out through the feet. Okay. So we could almost do these things. So admittedly, for us to recognise that, we probably need to have a call, someone to say, this is what we need to be doing. Francis had lots of space. Usually when Francis is in space, we'll hear a shrill screech. So that's a better option, as opposed to we kick it long. Benji's got a bunch of bodies on him. It's not really ideal, but that's fine. Anyway, so 33-18. Now 36-47. There's a good idea. It's really good break. We'll see a really good break in the lead up to this bit of feedback. So, boom, really good. So once again, turnover, transitional ball. So we've got the ball. Now, did we really? There you go. So you've driven through, Danny, really good. Now we need to be looking for options. I'm just going to run the pauses because sometimes these scatters now, we're at the point now where we're starting to run out of options. A good option can be to roll it back or link up because you're becoming more and more isolated. And as it turns out, we end up getting dispossessed and the opportunity breaks down. Move the ball faster, find the space. In keeping with that, come 52-30, once again, one thing we need to get a lot better at is respecting and valuing the ball and rallying possession. Okay. So we've got the ball now. So just respect possession. We don't need to be so direct, boys. Okay, once we've won the ball, consolidate the possession. Because this is dog shit football here right now. And that's not really the pass you want. Let's just get on the ball, get steady, get out of shape, okay, and run the ball, manage the possession, control possession. We don't need to give them the ball. 59-09. At this point in time in the game, we were really camped in their half, okay? Yeah, so what I wanted to highlight was a little bit before that. It's where we play back to Danny. Okay, so Nathan, he's had to turn his body to win the ball. Creates the options, realizes that the best options are Riley. Unfortunately, it's a little bit behind him. And he ends up taking a left foot shot. Not his strongest shot, decent. I mean, if you hit that shot anywhere other than straight at the keeper, then you're in the game. But unfortunately, it was straight at the gap. Now 66-33. Okay, so this is a really good example of just rushing it, guys. No need to rush it that much. So we've got the ball. It's a transitional ball, really well won. Passed it through. Now, I think it's Benji does a really good job is he bounces it back. Now we've got the ball here. So now, that's really, really good. So now we can have a look at our options and we've taken a little bit of time. So this chance is gone. Will's now offside. Benji's still there. So what we need to do is work on finding a way to retain possession rather than trying to force a long ball. As it turns out, we force a long ball, go straight to the defender, and the opportunity is lost. The other thing that we can do is that line, we've kind of forced that because everyone's running away. If everyone stays, so if we watch it again, so we were just rushing it a bit, okay? So the ball comes out, great playback by Benji. Now, at this point in time, we just need to sort of ask ourselves if he's going to be able to get it there. So it could be, but another option could be for this run, check in. Your defender, bearing in mind, your defender can't see you, okay? And because your defender can't see you, he's going to keep on running away from you, which means that you can receive the ball in space and then turn and face, and then we can all join in the attack, okay? I'm not sure who that is over there, but he can then join in the attack, okay? And a shocker with the cursors. But this long ball, it's really low percentage. Someone needs to drop in to get that, okay? So either Benji or Will. So anyway, we can work this out. We'll get better at doing it. We can, finding the best option. I did want to highlight, we have to have a look at the free kick that tested the keeper. It's 62-35 and seeing if we can figure out how the hell, I think it was Zach, was adjudicated as being offside. Obviously got the great white cake, wrong spot there. 83.49. I think this should be an example of. Okay, I think this is male on the ball. So played through to create the shot. 84.08. We'll play it through from here. We can see we've got Mal's shirt over his head. Still 1-1, still looking for the winner. Keeper lobs it out. This guy doesn't control it. We control it. Isaac just puts it back into the mixer. We bring the ball down. Now, this is a good example of when, if you see the opportunity and the shot is within your range, putting it through, okay? Other options, he could have played to Max, who's at the back, and Max could have driven through, but this is going directly at it. And well done by Lukey. Really, really good pass. Really good pass. But we create that pass by mixing it up. Okay. Sometimes we play through. Sometimes we do the long, we do the longer pass. But in that situation, and the other critical point to that was the execution. The execution of that pass was really good. Okay. Now in this situation, Lukey, mate, if you're in that situation, have a look up and decide whether or not the best option is just to put it into the mixer. Because I would argue when this sort of goes to game state, 2-1 up in this situation, honestly, mate, I would prefer to see you dribble in the box and see what you can make happen, because the closer you get, you'll draw a defender, and that's going to be a defender that can't be involved in defending. Go figure. You're probably going to draw this guy, and that's going to create opportunities in behind them to cross, to pass for our attackers coming through. So in that situation, use the time. We don't need to be in a hurry, in such a rush. We rush way too much in our games, boys, and we just need to get it out of our headspace. Look, that is all I wanted to cover. Today, you'll be about to train. It's 3:30. I have a business function tonight, but this will be up and ready for you to watch. There will be a match preparation video for Sunday's game against the Gap. Looks like we're going to be without Luca and Major due to injury and illness, respectively. So I will look forward to seeing you soon, boys. Cheers.